Yeah, I'm just sitting on my little lunch break. Thought about something I just heard on the radio. Some of us might not realize how vital radio is. And at the same time, some people probably laugh and say, this joker still listen to radio. Yeah, man, I listen to radio. I listen to radio because it's not as controlled. It's not as, you know, sanctioned, patrolled. It's not as limited. And so it seems as if the people that are against us most, it seems as if they are sick and tired of people like you going to other sources to get their news. People like you going to other sources. People like you actually thinking. They don't trust you. Bottom line is they don't trust you to think. They don't trust you to make your own decisions. They don't trust us to do almost anything. It's cool back here. Wow. I'm on my lunch break. It's a little cold out here. At the same time, it's bright. Maybe that's because the sun right there. All right. That make a little sense. Just a little bit. And so they don't trust you to make your own decision. They don't trust you to inform your family. They don't trust you to inform your children. They don't trust you to do anything. Definitely not to make the right vote. We see that right now, too. And so they don't trust you, the American people. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your creed, your background, your culture, your heritage. Well, probably it does. If they feel like they have you controlled, if they feel like they have the mind control over you, robotic, the new woke, then you probably won't be tampered with as much when it comes to information. And it probably won't bother you as much whenever they do some of the things that they are starting to do to make sure you stay under control. And so a lot of people know of George Soros, especially a lot of people from, and I probably, I've learned that name is so powerful that might have just canceled the YouTube could go dead as soon as they hear it. But either way, I'm going to say what I'm trying to say. And so a lot of people, growing up in the revolutionary movement, growing up in the movement, we hear of George Soros' name all the time. Repeatedly, countless, when it comes to aggression against the black community, aggression against poor people, hatred against poor people, George Soros' name is probably right up there with anybody else's name. I mean, I don't even think the other people got real names. It's just called, they call it Ku Klux Klan. But it was people operating before that as well. I'm just saying George Soros is a bona fide, notified, documented enemy against black people, against poor people of America, particularly black people. Why am I saying that? What am I talking about here? And so we saw what happened with the last election. We saw how they tried to make. Well, let's go back to 2016. In 2016, they did their best to control. They did their best to control it, but they did a great job of controlling the narrative of news. And Donald Trump won anyway. People hated Hillary more than they hated all the lies that they spit and spread on Donald Trump. Ain't that something? People hated Hillary and all of the baggage and BS that she came with, the Clintons, more than they hated the millions and billions of dollars thrown into the campaigns to slaughter Donald Trump's name. Most of it turning out to be lies on the fake news, pushed thousands of times a day. on thousands of different networks. Truth actually shut down and controlled. Truth actually blocked from the people. And somehow, Donald Trump still won. He came in and did his thing, and they got better control of the election the next time by effectively um, learning how to count dead people votes, learning how to put multiple ballots in homes. My home was one of them. I had 4 ballots, and I lived by myself. Imagine for the and I'm in a very democratic, a very highly democratic area. Even though it's Florida, it's a highly democratic area, not state. And so, imagine how many black Democrat homes that more than one ballot went to. Like I said, I live alone, and I got 4 ballots in 2020. 4. And they wasn't checking a lot of stuff. We already know this. You didn't need a lot of things to vote in that term. Imagine how many people was down with the shenanigans that actually went and voted all 4 of their ballots. You know. So anyway, and they still saw how close it was. The election was effectively, woo. It was, something was up with that. Everybody know that. It's not 80 million people that wanted to vote for this guy. It's not more people that voted for him than the first black president. Okay, it's not more black people lined up to go vote for this guy than it was when it voted for the first black president of the United States, because people didn't know how he was going to do. Blacks didn't know either. So we went. I was one of them. Not after that, but I definitely was one of the ones first. Happily ran down there and voted, you know, a lot, whatever. Now it's 2024, time to vote. I just heard that George Soros bought the 2nd largest radio station in the world. Radio network, radio station, radio family, radio conglomerate. Woo. Do you know what that means? That means for all of you people, I kind of sarcastically said it a little bit ago, but all of you little smart people, all of you smart asses, all of you people getting from under the control of the beast, all of you people trying to go to other forms of information. All of you people actually seeing the truth or hearing the truth through radios. We got control of Fox, but we don't have full control of Hannity. Yeah, we had control of these few people, but we don't have full control because they're getting on the radio networks where they can actually say more and have longer segments and give more information. They're not controlled, so much control. And so I learned that radio has been giving, you can be fed through the radio, but now George Soros has thrown his hat in the ring to effectively stop that too. So if the FBI and the CIA and all them people, they can control social media and those forms of communication, and the news, the fake news, all under control, fake news and social media. So what's next? What is next? Why are the people still awake, truly awake? I mean, 2000, before the new woke. Why are people still awake? Why are people still finding out the truth? How are people being enlightened? How are people being aware? What other forms of information are out there? How are they getting access to this information? Well, another way is radio. And once, and I want to say who else is owned by this? I want to say CBS is also owned by the same people. Also owned by the same people that just made this merge made a merge, and now that company is merging with George Soros or been bought by George Soros. I'm telling you, people, be aware. Go harder than you've ever gone. Not just because of the election, but because of your health. That depends on it as well. You want to know what they're doing. You want to know when they start trying to put vaccines, as they say, in the food. Look that up. Don't just take my word for it. Trying to vaccinate you through the food, through fruits and vegetables that you don't even know is in there. Learn these things, because if you don't know that your information is controlled, then you might go to that same controlled information to feed you and your family. I was shocked when I heard it. I immediately had to tune in and let y'all know what's popping, man. What's popping? I got Saints and I got blocked off Instagram for, not that I care, because if I cared, I would be still, doing the same thing. For just sharing the same video that flew all around the world with the migrants rushing the border, or knocking down cops. I shared it. That's all I did is share it. I got blocked for 30 days. They don't do that to white people because they feel that white people are already woke and they're waking themselves up and they're waking their family members up effectively. They do that to the people they are used to controlling. And once they see certain neighborhoods and certain communities, certain cultures starting to try to wake up, they start throwing in other shit to put you back to sleep. No, they can share it, but this guy can't share it because he's going to share it to more people like him. They can share it, but he can't share it, and she can't share it because she's going to share it to more people like her. We need them to stay dumb. I watched Chicago. All the citizens of Chicago. Black people need to watch that. You need to watch how they had to go down to City Hall and effectively tell what's going on, and effectively tell how almost every black citizen, and it's high, is like what, predominantly black, 80-90%, maybe even higher than that. Some people might say he's crazy. It's higher than that. They're getting put out of their shelters. I'm talking about people with full-time jobs who still need shelter, getting put out of those shelters because migrants are now homeless citizens. Not real citizens, but just homeless sanctuary city citizens. If you live in a sanctuary city, you should not be supporting that government. And if you don't know why I say that, you should look up what it is to be defined as a sanctuary city. Look up what they have to do as the government of that city. Look at what they give up. Look at how they protect them. Look at how they can commit crime and get away with those crimes while you can't get away with anything. And you could actually be the victim of that crime. Certain crimes, they're sanctuary cities. They have protections. Protections from police even being allowed to go in and arrest some of them. Yeah. We better find out what's happening to our community. They feel that we as black people did not care enough about the dream that they sold us. They feel that we tried to wake up from that dream, and when we woke up, or when we started to wake up, we started kicking too hard. We woke up too fast. We didn't even stay drowsy. They're used to people staying drowsy after the wake-up process, and we didn't do it. And now we're going to pay a price. We're going to pay a price at the hands of the immigrants. No, I know a lot of y'all not fearing, and a lot of y'all say, well, I mean, people who don't understand, they're going to respond ignorantly. But for those who do understand, they understand. They understand that when the president give out 1 million work visas, that means 1 million civilians or citizens going to lose their jobs. You can't make up jobs to give to somebody who can barely speak English. You do understand that. So there are certain jobs that are already ready for those people. And I'm not knocking them. I know a lot of them. A lot of them are my friends. And there are certain industries where they can walk right in and take your job. And there are certain industries where they can't. Like me, right now, I'm driving. I'm on break, but I'm driving a truck. Not driving literally, Instagram, I know y'all want to block it. So I'm saying that's what I do for a living. Or YouTube, I'm not driving literally. But that is what I do for a living. It'll be a little bit harder for them to come in and take my job. Just a little bit. They got to go through a small process. They won't make it too hard because they are giving out licenses. But it'll be a little bit harder to get a license to drive this. But there are some jobs they will walk in, they are walking in and they taking jobs immediately. Matter of fact, they're not taking them, they just getting them because they're already there for them because you already been laid off. Find out what's going on. Find out what your mayor and your city council is pushing and what they believe in. And you'll find out you're on the outside looking in, just waiting to be told what happened. Just waiting to be told the next moves. And you'll say, when did this happen? And I'm here to tell you, it happened while you were looking, not while you wasn't looking, while you were looking. That's what they're doing to us now. They're doing it to us while we looking. Yeah, man. George Soros just bought the largest radio station in the world. Second largest radio station in the world. That means communicating will be a little bit harder. That means making people aware of the truth will be a little bit harder. That means the control of social media has grown more arms and legs. You understand? They already see, they wondering how people are waking up, how people are still staying truly woke, not the sleep woke that they came out with. How are people still aware? How is this man that we keep lying on and we done turned the state against? In other words, we done turned the government arm we done turned the government against a political opponent. We done made this man look so bad, and people are still aware that we are lying. People are still aware that we are putting false charges and we are making up charges and we doing stuff that we ain't never did. And no citizen. Keep in mind this. I don't know if people are familiar with Bernie Madoff. Remember the Madoff scheme? Look it up. Look up how much his bond was. And remember, this man got 25 years. This man was on record for skimming like $25 billion. Donald Trump don't have a victim. Look that up. And look what his bond was in comparison to what Donald Trump victimless crime bond was. Look at this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, who just ripped off tens of billions of dollars from people. Actually living people right now still. Look what his bond was. In comparison to Donald Trump's bond. So they are confused on how civilians and taxpayers and Americans are still loving this guy. Except for the dumb people. Except for the people that are willing to say, I hate him so much that I'm willing to say, forget my kid's future. Forget my daughter and her dream of being a basketball player against all girls. Forget my daughter's hopes of swimming in a pool and competing against all girls like her. I don't like Trump so much that I'm willing to say, forget all of that. These people are loving the dumb people who are willing to say that to themselves, who are willing to look at their kids and say, I hated that guy so much, I wasn't willing to give you a fair chance. I hated him so much that I was willing to let a teacher, a total stranger, talk to you about your private parts. Wow. These people are practicing and walking evildoers. Yeah. We must control the beast and not be controlled by the beast. They say the government was made for the people, not to control, but for the people. We must find out where we went wrong. I heard the Pledge of Allegiance in school the other day, in a school, because I delivered to schools a lot. It was a beautiful thing. It was funny because I literally ran back into school. I was on my way out, and I heard it. I turned around. I'm like, I heard the bell ring first, and it was funny. It was awesome, really, because I ain't been in school in a long time, and so if you go at the right time, you catch certain things. And I go almost every day at a certain time, and so I wasn't sure if I had missed it before from time schedules. I wasn't sure if I had just missed it, so I ran back in. I'm like, what? Whoa! I looked at a teacher. I'm like, is that the pledge? Well, I didn't know if he was a teacher or not, so I looked at this guy. I'm like, is that the Pledge of Allegiance? He was like, yeah. He said, I don't know what it is, but I think they started doing it lately. He said, I mean, obviously you work here. He said, but he said, I think I've been hearing it over the last couple of days, more than once. Even last week, I heard it a couple of times. He was like, I think it's great. And I was like, I do too, man. And we both I was like, all right, man, have a good day. He said, you too, man. We both understood the same thing without having to say it. This is good for our children. I ain't got kids in school. But my kids, your kids, are my kids, so to speak. Your kids will probably run into my grandkids who are in school. So it's still a village raised the child mentality for people like me. And if you have a government raised the child mentality, the government loves you. The government loves you, and they are the ones telling you through people like Gayle King and Michael Strahan. We know the world is busy. We know it's hard. We know you work hard, you're busy. Don't worry about it. You don't have time to keep up with the real stuff that's going on. Don't worry about it. We got you. We got you covered. Those are the exact words they say. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? That means relax. Don't look for the truth. Just let us give you what we need to give you. Don't look up anything we say. Trust us to give you what's necessary for you to have to make the decision. Not the right decision, the decision that we need you to make. That means trust us instead of yourself for your children. That means even when we speak contradictory to the Bible, even when we start contradicting those things that you grew up on and you considered good, trust us. Whatever channel the March Madness was on, that's what channel Gayle King and Strahan on, and those are the ones who say those words. And I'm willing to almost bet it's one of the ones considered fake news. Yeah, it's been some good people waking up, and some not afraid, like Stephen A. Smith, not afraid to speak the truth. And I'm going to be honest, he's one of the most impressive because he's the same way he is with sports. Some like him, some going to love him. And at the same time, some going to dislike him or hate him. And I say some like him, some love him because you could just simply like somebody because they're good at their job. But you could simply love somebody because the enthusiasm, just the way they go at it. Kobe on the court. The Black Mamba. Jordan on the court. Our greatness. Dog. So we like certain people, and then we love certain people because it's just different. Stephen A. Smith, he bring that enthusiasm to sports, man. And if you was against the team that he was talking about, you hated him for a little while. You understand? Because, he just brings that enthusiasm. He brings the heart to the passion of whatever he's talking about. And guess what? He stepped into another world, a world beyond his. I would like to say God has told him, you are much bigger than sports. And you have to speak to a higher level. And you have to speak to more than sports. And it takes a while. You don't just grow up overnight saying, okay, everything that I was trained on, I'm going to untrain myself. Trust me, I understand this. There's so many old people right now need to be untrained, unlearned on the things that they refuse to let go. I watched a man on Stephen A. Smith talk about so many things, so much he know this, he know that, he know this, he know that. And then he looked right at Stephen A. Smith and said, but Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. We acknowledging control of speech, freedom of speech may be in trouble. We acknowledging the control, and the FBI admitted. Mark Zuckerberg admitted the FBI knocked on his door and said, we need you to control some of these things that the Republicans are putting out. We need you to help us lie about the truth. And he said yes. And this coward still sat up there and looked that man right in the face and said, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Why can't the government in itself, why can't the Democrats who are controlling everything except for people like that they put in place to continue with the bull crap? That's why he thinks. Let me tell you something real quick. When people sit up and tell you First of all, I like when people like to try to go private, like Stephen A, because you can say more without being hurt, without being fired, without being pushed around and bullied. Yeah, YouTube still a lot of they with the some of it too, but you still go a little bit more independent when you start saying I'm gonna go further than my news station, and it's beautiful. You could tell he actually is listening to people and he's learning. I mean, you could tell this brother is actually looking for the truth. And you can listen to him talk. He not all the way sold, but you don't want him to be all the way sold yet. Because that will make him a push button. We don't want a push button. We want somebody who can effectively say, when at the end of the day, when this brother come out and say, this where I'm going, and this is why. See, right now he just giving y'all, what he doing right now, he just showing you I'm wearing eggs and I'm wearing bacon. And I'm wearing eggs and bacon. And I'm putting grits over here too. And you know what? I'm putting butter toast. I'm weighing out everything. I'm not just going to weigh out the one thing that I was hearing about. I'm weighing it all. I'm putting it all on the table for honest and real truth. And he doing that. He bringing on different people, talking to different people, and talking to other people about the different people he talked to and learned different information. And he challenging people right on the spot. He challenged Charlemagne, and Charlemagne, you just a coward, brother. I say that because of this. When you have that much information and a man tell you that he didn't like, you said it didn't bother you when Joe Biden told you to your face that you ain't black if you didn't vote for him. It didn't bother you. And I'm going to tell you some people, and Stephen A. called him out, called him. And Stephen A. said, if you see all of this junk over here, how can you not say something, but then you say something about all of these rumors and things and every little thing you hear about Donald Trump? That's a double standard, brother. Stephen A. be calling people out, man. So I just like it. And I'm not trying to say anything that he didn't say. He not signing up for Donald Trump. But he's signing up to listen to everything. That's important. When brothers who are willing to listen, people are willing to listen to them. So I say that in case he ever see that. My brother, keep on going. Keep on going. Yeah. You can't be that way. And so when you got the truth like that and you're scared to come out with the truth and stand on the truth as you know it, it comes to my conclusion. When people say a threat to democracy, when they say Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, let me tell you what that actually means. Since they are so good at telling you what something means, giving you the perception, giving you the breakdown, let me give you the breakdown of that. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Donald Trump is a threat to my way of finance, the way that I make a living. Donald Trump is going to get in the way of my income. That's what that means. When they say a threat to democracy, that means Donald Trump is how I'm making all of this money to continue lying to you, misleading you, dumbing you down, exaggerating false narratives. That's my way of life. That is their way of life, not mine. Let me stop saying mine, but I like to go into this dramatization sometimes. That's what they are telling you. They are telling you, I have come out of poverty. I have come out of a regular tax bracket, a whole different tax bracket, by simply doing, by being a push button, by waiting for instructions, and every day those instructions come in talking points. And if I start telling the truth, that would be a threat to my income. A threat to the way of life that I have come to know it as I have come to know it. In other words, Donald Trump is a threat to my income. That's what it is. That's what they are telling you. All these Democrats who are becoming rich, politicians who are becoming rich, they are becoming rich doing a job against the people of this nation. The people of the world, actually, because they pushing that garbage out into the world, but particularly the people of this nation. You are now, it's America first is some type of threat for them. And they mean it. They mean it literally. When they say that's a threat, they mean it. They mean MAGA is a threat because of that. America first means they have to go back to their regular way of life. That means they have to do what they actually were elected to do, and that's their job. They don't want to do that. They got to make money. Can't make money doing that. You can, but not the kind of money they want to make. It's amazing when you pay attention that all the people on the stock market, Democrats and Republicans, all of them kind of pulled out right on time. It just show you how quick it all of them is. They knew exactly what was going to happen. In 2020, they all pulled out of certain things and put their money in certain things. Pulled out of things like Carnival. Why? How they knew Carnival was going to be messed up and put it in stuff where they knew was going to be in demand. You know, the Amazons and stuff of the world that they knew was going to be in demand. Control movement. We got to pay attention, man. All right. Why would somebody like George Soros buy the second largest radio communication broadcast radio network in the world? To make sure you don't hear all the truth that you keep hearing outside of fake news and social media. All right, this is what always Krown Deon, man. Download the music, man. You want good music for your family, your children to listen to? Check me out, man. Right on this page, or BOMBAI, that page as well. Yeah, man. That's it. Finna hit this thing and see if they here. They told me to wait till 10:30, so finna check that out. Man, I look like Tyrone with the white lips. I've been talking too long.